In this video, I'm going to talk about how to make your recommendation letter. So some people have asked me questions about how to write the recommendation letter and can I provide a template for the recommendation letter. And sometimes when you ask people to write a recommendation letter for either EB1 application or NIW application, they would ask you to give them a format so they can edit it. So it's always good to ask your referees that do they need such a letter. Uh, if they say yes, then you should provide a letter similar to what I'm going to show you today. Now, this letter is very simple. So typically the recommendation letter will have 4 sections. Okay, these sections are going to be the introduction. The introduction is the section where the referee would tell how does he know you, what is this letter about. The second part is going to be the information about the referee himself or herself, because before writing a letter like this, you have to first establish your credentials, that you are a person who is experienced enough that they can properly evaluate your credentials. So in the second section, the referee generally provides them information about their background, their research, what kind of work they have done in the past, have they evaluated other people in the past. And once that is established, then the bulk of the letter is going to be about the applicant or you. And in this part, they would provide information about your background, so how much they know about your background. Then they will provide information about your research accomplishments. So if you have done different types of research, or if you have published different papers, or if there's one or two publication that they think is very influential, or something that they have used in their own research, then they would highlight such research accomplishments or papers in different paragraphs, and generally one paragraph for each accomplishment or each publication which they think is influential. And after that, if there are other contributions that they think is important, for example, if you have organized some conferences which was very successful, or if you are a professor and if you're teaching and you have done some really good work in your teaching, or if you have provided some service, if you have been awarded some kind of a teaching fellowship or a service for either community or university or some other level, then they can also highlight those contributions. And finally, they would write a concluding paragraph saying that these, just concluding whatever your research accomplishments are, and writing that they strongly support your application. So let me show you how this would look like. So the letter would look something like this. Generally what you should do is you should ask your referee to put a letterhead on top, and then their information, their name, whatever their professor, their dean. It's better to get a letter for somebody whom I highly accomplished. So try to get a letter for someone who have done very well in their field, and their address. After that, this is just some regular information. That's how you write a letter regarding your petition about EB1, your name, and then this is the first section. In this section, they write that they are writing a letter for you to support your petition. Here they also write how they know you. If they are independent evaluators who don't know you personally or don't have a collaboration with, then it's better to mention it right here that they are providing an independent assessment. They don't know you personally, but they know your research. And how do they know your research? Maybe by reading your papers or by meeting you at conferences, having discussions. So it's very important to establish that at the very beginning, that whether this letter is an independent assessment or an assessment by someone who knows you, like your PhD advisor or postdoc advisor or some collaborator. And after that, after the introductory paragraph, in the second paragraph, they provide information about themselves. So here they would write that what is their educational background, what are they doing currently? Are they a professor or a dean or an editor of some journal? What is their own research accomplishments? So have they published, how many papers they have published, how many times they have been cited, what kind of research grants they have had, how much, if they have received some major award like an NSF award or Nobel Prize or something like that. And then in throughout their career, how long is their career, and how many graduate students or postdoctoral students they have advised themselves, so they can establish that they are at a position where they can evaluate some other researcher. After this paragraph is concluded, then this is the bulk of the letter, where they are going to talk about each and every contribution. So here the way it's written is that this is a small summary of my research accomplishments, and then there are several paragraphs in which each one of my research, I think there are only one or two which are highlighted here. You don't have to highlight all the research in the same letter. If there are 4 or 5 people writing letters for you, then each one of them can highlight two different things, and by the end you will have all of them highlighted. So here I think two of them were highlighted, and then there was also a paragraph about my teaching, that I have contributed as a teacher throughout my career. Here there's also one sentence about how can this expertise be useful to the United States in terms of its growth or security or financial benefit. I think it's good to highlight something like that in the letter. If your referee can highlight that, and that your research is going to create some new technology, or it has already created some new technology which is financially helpful or helpful in security. So that kind of highlight makes your application very, very strong, especially coming from an independent person who doesn't know you. And you should try to include something like that in the letter. And finally, the concluding paragraph, where the referee says that I fully support the the petition for permanent residency, or I strongly support. A line like I strongly support or I fully support would be very good to have at the conclusion. So this is how the letter looks like. I'm going to put a link to the letter under this video. Feel free to use it, and if you have any question, feel free to ask me. Thank you.